Passage from the book, chapter title, The Allegation. Pragati, brimming with emotion, lay on the bed, observing the slow movement of the ceiling fan, lost in thought. Sunlight entered the room through the windows, the curtain drawn aside. Pragati reflected that one man who had always stood by her, like a pillar, was her father. She could see his eyes filled with love for her. Was it the sense of responsibility? His life wasn't always easy. He had a failed marriage yet enthusiastic person. At last, after devoting 22 years to FCIL, Fertilizer Corporation of India Limited, Sreedharan planned to take voluntary retirement. His enthusiasm for the service had been so profound that it had given him substantial satisfaction over the period. The projects that he had undertaken were appreciated by the senior engineers. However, they didn't always heed to his proposals, as he only had a diploma in civil engineering. His colleagues quipped that they could not bear the insult of accepting all his projects. Sreedharan would remark, after revising undesired projects, they often suggested to take up other alternatives. One can pinch their nose directly or twist their arm around the head to touch it. The result would be the same. And his associates would rather swivel their plans than buckle at his ideas. Conversely, he had to obey them, since they were after all his bosses. He had a busy work life, but often managed to take time out to visit his native land, not to rejuvenate the relationship with his parents, but to his in-laws' place, Mangalam Viju. Sreedharan sensed that the locale wasn't in accordance with his convictions. He felt a sense of disconnect with the nativity. The conversations had simplicity. They were all about small fertile plots of agricultural activities, cattle rearing, sale and purchase of cattle, discussions of land dealings, and of course about the most celebrated social event, marriages and marriage alliances between families. The resident activities were heavily comprised of the gossip revolving around aborted alliances, housewarming ceremonies, and mourning the deaths of acquaintances. The only complexity in their lives, Sreedharan observed, arose on the dealing with politics or political issues. At any tea shop or bus stop junction in the area, those gathered around, even those just waiting for a couple of minutes for a bus to arrive, were sure to involve in a heated argument on the political conversation. The cheerful approval of people, belonging to the same political party, engaged in the dialogue on the latest development, could be discerned from a distance. While the squabble of people from opposing parties, arguing, could turn violent and abusive. Majority of the junctions are likely to be in festive decoration with multiple patterns of flags related to the schools, colleges and labor alliance parties. This densely packed the atmosphere with political discourse. The state has been, till date, governed by just two political parties in alternate terms. Kerala maintains the record of the highest literacy rate in the country. However, contrary to the expectation, the religious fervor dominates the whole political framework. Quite a large population are in holy order, as it is evident from the regular visits to their respective prayer homes. Though the state is politically active, yet these masses dense in patriarchy are incurious about the term women empowerment, a situation further reinforced by the pious and dutiful female beings. Dowry deaths, suicide among women, and other gender-related violence are recorded in alarmingly increasing rate, year after year. What is the use of the tag, most literate state? The state came into existence in 1956, under Territorial Reorganization Commission, along linguistic lines. A year later, Communist Party of India (CPI) formed the first ever democratically elected government. M.S. Namboodiripad was sworn as the first chief minister. His prime priority was a radical set of land and agrarian reforms, and regulation of free education at both government and aided schools and the associated educational institutions. But before these reforms could be implemented, an agitation led by the opposition party enforced the imposition of the president's rule in the state. Despite this, the subsequent governments were able to implement the act. However, neither the first nor successive governments have concerned themselves with gender equality and women empowerment in any tangible manner.
Raji.
Thank you.